Capricorn, welcome to your embodied astrology horoscope for Aries season. This is a period of time between March 20th and April 20th in 2025. My name is Renee, and I am not going to give you a predictive horoscope. I am going to give you an energetic blueprint or map for the season ahead and offer to you some of what I'm feeling coming in as major themes and which areas of your life are being activated throughout this season. And we'll feel into some potentials for embodied awareness. These are somatic tools to work with your body, your breath, your felt sense, to stay aligned with your highest potential and also to stay centered and connected to your inner resources in times that feel challenging. Take what works, leave the rest. This is a general reading, so it may not resonate for everybody. Make the meanings that are meaningful for you. And this is a reading for Capricorn Sun, Rising, and Moon, as well as any other Capricorn placements you might know that you have. And everybody has Capricorn in their chart. So if you know which house Capricorn is in or what planets you have there, you can also listen for those themes. Aries is a sibling sign to Capricorn. It is another sign on what's called the cardinal cross. Aries begins with the equinox. March 20th is the vernal equinox. That's the beginning of spring in the northern hemisphere, the beginning of autumn in the southern hemisphere. And your season, Capricorn, begins on a solstice. So that is either the beginning of winter or summer, depending on which hemisphere you're in. This means that Capricorn and Aries are both signs that start things, and they have a lot of initiatory kinds of energies. These are energies that are bold, they are courageous, they get things moving. Aries gets things moving through fire, like the match that sparks the flame. Capricorn gets things moving through earth. This is initiating around building, structure, formation, materiality. Aries rests in a part of your chart that is in the ground below you. And so when it comes to your energy and capacity and focus and enthusiasm and motivation to build things in your life and in the world, Aries energy is a big part of how you do that. This means that Capricorn as an energetic archetype stands with courage. It is a feeling of being lit from underneath. Your sign is one that is known for having a lot of dignity, and Aries as an energetic force wants to move right up through your central channel, wants to help connect you between earth and sky in alignment with your own dignity. Aries is also an energy that can sometimes be kind of impulsive, and Capricorn does not always like this or resonate with it. You are a very measured kind of energetic pattern, but this year with so much happening in Aries season, including some longer term cycles with your ruling planet, Saturn coming into Aries in the month of May, and the outer planet Neptune entering Aries in Aries season. Both Saturn and Neptune will be back and forth a little bit throughout 2025, but they start their journeys into Aries in 2025 and they move in for their long haul stays in 2026. These influences are really asking for mobilization and for action orientation. And some of you might be feeling like you are ready to move and you are ready to make moves. And the kind of moves that you might be ready to make are potentially moves that are new feeling, different feeling. And some of you might be feeling a little bit unsure about it because, as I mentioned, Capricorn likes steady, certain mapped out plans, and Aries energy is just about getting going, whether or not we know where we're going. So as we move into the season, I do want to recommend that you really work to embody a felt sense awareness of what happens when Aries energy starts to feel a little imbalanced, especially for Capricorns. So Aries as an energetic pattern lives in your face and in your head. It corresponds with the I feeling, the me, myself, and I. When people are really focused on their I-ness, their me, myself, and mine-ness, they tend to get up in their heads. We get egotistical, right? Our egos are totally important and necessary, and sometimes they are overblown and harmful. And you know the feeling for yourself of when you have been in these kinds of spaces, and you, I'm sure, also can recognize when other people are resonating in these kinds of ways. And one of the things that happens for people when they get really into their ego selves is that they get up in their heads, literally. And so a lot of energy can go up into the face and the eyes. People's vision actually becomes a lot more narrow. Sometimes the crease between the eyebrows gets really intense, and the eyes actually have a feeling of hardening around them or being kind of aggressive. Our ego bodies, our I feelingness get activated, especially when there is polarity dynamics engaged. And so this could be threat or conflict. This can also be desire and passion. Scarcity and survival modes, and the feeling of, I want something or I got to get something. These are fundamental kinds of biological, physiological blueprints that all of us have in our bodies. And for everybody, when those patterns get engaged, we can become really focused. And that is a biological necessity in order to escape from threat and get the thing that we want and need. And sometimes it's a total hindrance. And it becomes a hindrance when we lose track, we lose touch with our relationality. When we become urgent and hasty and unthoughtful and do things because we're just being reactive. When our sense of threat or conflict gets overblown, and then we find ourselves being really defensive or overly aggressive and creating bad situations for ourselves or others, or when we get really fearful and into scarcity and survival mind states that lead us to run away and hide when maybe we could actually meet a situation and help it evolve. Passionate desire can also really lead us down the wrong track sometimes if we lose touch with our own capacities for regulation and moderation. And I'm going to say reason and capacity to kind of like tune in with what other people want and need. So we want to be careful about Aries energy when it becomes excessive. It can become really harmful in the world. And especially with Saturn and Neptune coming into Aries in 2025, there are a lot of these kinds of imbalances and excesses manifesting. They manifest as warlike aggression. They manifest as delusionality and egotism and strong orientations towards scarcity and survival modes that don't take relationality and interdependence into account. Basically, people are not team players, but they are just out for their own prerogatives, come what may, hell or high water for everybody else. If you found your way to this particular reading and you're still here, I'm just going to bet that you are a Capricorn who is actually really here to uphold the dignity of Capricorn's archetypal energy. This is the dignity of the ancestors and the elders. This is the dignity of devotion to the earth and deep care for the earth and its life forms. So you want to be able to harness Aries energy in ways that fill you with courage. And that's a word that in its root is talking about the heart. So fill you with heartfulness. Really help you differentiate in ways that honor your interdependence. And this means that you speak up, that you stand for what you stand for, that you make the moves that you really feel are in alignment with your integrity, and that you also recognize that there are consequences to your actions and you are going to have an impact, and that impact may not always be everything that you intended. And that means that you're also able to be accountable and work with yourself a little bit, be self-reflective. And that is what all of us need in our Aries-ness, the ways we get into our me, myself, and I-ness. So how do we work with Aries energy when it comes up in an imbalanced kind of way? We really want to notice when we get hot-headed, when we feel like bulls in a china shop, when we feel urgent, when we feel hasty, when our eyes get tight and hard and narrow in their focus, when we get all the way up in our head and we're not even aware of what's happening in our relationships and environments, those are physical somatic cues that there's a red flag. And what we want to do when we notice these energetic patterns manifesting is take some deep breaths, intentionally broaden and widen the focus and the vision. And so if you're a sighted person, you can do this by opening your hands out to the sides, like as far as you can still see them in your peripheral vision, and really trying to adjust the aperture of your gaze so you take in as much as possible. You can feel the way that your breath travels up through your nose and into your sinuses and your forehead. And as you exhale, you can consciously relax your brain. You can also work to balance Aries energy by coming into its polarity space in the body. This is the space that Libra governs, and this is the area of your kidneys and adrenal glands. If you bring your forearms or your hands to your back body, right around the height of your waist or your belly button, your kidneys rest on either side of your spine, and your adrenal glands are on top of your kidneys. And when we get stressed, adrenaline and cortisol get released into our bloodstreams, and that's what's produced in the kidneys. And you also have other hormones that are produced in your kidneys that help regulate and metabolize. And so when we breathe into this area of our bodies and consciously relax these tissues and really try and soften and bring like some movement and ease into this part of our bodies, that can help us not overproduce or unnecessarily produce the stress hormones, and also help our bodies produce the regulating and digesting and metabolizing hormones. As a Capricorn, I also really want to encourage you to pay attention to your bones and joints. These are the parts of your body that Capricorn governs. And something that can happen for everybody, regardless of the sign, is that when we get really locked into me, myself, and I, survival mentality, urgency, hastiness, etc., we actually start to gather tension around our joints. A lot of people gather tension around the jaw joint. A lot of people also gather tension in the base of their spine. It is natural for any mammals that have vestigial tails to tuck their tails when they feel a sense of threat. And so, don't be a tight ass, basically. But the joints of your lower spine and around your sacrum can get really tight and congested. And then there are other parts of the body that can also manifest with stress. Capricorn especially rules the knees. And sometimes when we lock our knees, that can literally disrupt our connection with gravity and with the support of the earth. So the final thing that I'll mention is, as you feel your breath moving into your face and as you relax your brain and breathe into your back body, that you also kind of consciously relax any tension that might be gathered around your joints. And you can do this by wiggling, by stretching, maybe by opening your jaw and mouth and feeling that you're not collecting tension around there. Okay, so I'm offering these practices to you to work with if they feel helpful. And Capricorn, I really want to recommend them, especially around issues that might be coming up in Aries season that have to do with your home, with your family, with your sense of foundation, security, and stability, and also with your communication. And obviously communication with anybody or around any themes that might resonate with what I just said: home, family, security, foundation, stability, etc. In Aries season, there is a lot of new energy coming into your life to establish yourself in some new and different kinds of ways. And this feels like a new possibility when it comes to home, family, foundation, stability, and security. For some of you, this is exciting. And you are maybe thinking about traveling, you are maybe thinking about expanding. Some of you are in a total fantasy daydream space. You might be like, I'm going to build this new house or plant a new garden or redecorate, or you're having fantasies about relationships and how your family's going to grow or what people are going to do or something like that. And some of you are in the opposite side of the good fantasy, which is the bad fantasy nightmare space where you are spiraling and you're like, oh my God. It's, like you've got all of the doom fantasies flowing in about the people, about the places, about the situations. So not everybody is going to feel this extreme, but some of you are. And so if this resonates for you, I really want to say, look around at any given time and pay attention to what is just normal, okay? Like sunlight casting its luminosity off the leaves of a tree, the clouds changing shape in the sky. Look at your own body and recognize that it's still here and you are still breathing. There is a need for you to be grounded, practical, and measured when it comes to the issues of your home, your family, your security, and your stability right now. In the world that we live in today, there are a lot of threats to security and stability and a sense of family. And many of you might be feeling that right now, and for good reason. I'm not going to gaslight you and tell you that you can imagine it all away with your good thoughts. We are living at a time of heightened precarity. There is war, there is aggression, there is violence, there is climate catastrophe, and nothing is guaranteed for any of us except death. As a Capricorn, I think you can probably appreciate that sentiment. So when you can remind yourself of that, it actually helps you regulate. So if you are finding yourself going into disaster fantasies right now, or if you're feeling like things are really unstable, then I want to say, remind yourself that the nature of life on earth is instability, actually. And if you've happened to live a lifetime where you have had the privilege of some amount of stability and it feels like it's threatened now, it's just the nature of life manifesting in this time and in this way. So breathe into it and pay attention to where the opportunities are for you to realize your dreams nonetheless. And your dreams can change. And there may be opportunities emerging right now that you could have never imagined that will allow you to realize your dreams in ways that you could have never imagined. And so it's really important for you to be flexible and adaptable and open to new ideas. Some of you are literally starting to feel the ground underneath you shift in some big ways. You may be living in a place where there has been a recent disaster. You may be living in a place where you feel that there might be some kind of big climate emergency coming. You might feel a need to prepare or shift or adapt the ways that you are living in relationship to what you see happening in the larger world. Some of you are feeling like the stability that you have doesn't feel good anymore and you want to do something else. You might be wanting to travel. You might be wanting to move. You might be wanting to really change things up. And as I mentioned, some of you are really excited. Some of you are feeling like there are new potentialities, new possibilities. A lot of you are really motivated right now by your relationships. And there's a sense of change coming into your relationships that could be deepening commitments and deciding you're going to move forward in some new ways with people, or it could be deepening your commitment to yourself, differentiating, feeling your own sovereignty, feeling a new kind of freedom potential. And this is shifting the way that you feel yourself taking up space in the world. Obviously, there's a lot of possibilities there. So again, make the meaning that's meaningful for you. But what I want to say ultimately is that throughout Aries season and into not just this year, next year, but the next 13 years, because Neptune will be in Aries until 2038, Capricorns are being tasked with building the world of their dreams. Now, what does this mean? You are not in sole control of how the world gets built, obviously. But your consciousness creates some amount of the reality around you. You are in collaboration with life and with the environment and with everybody that you're relating with. And the ways that you allow your mind and your imagination to travel will have so much impact on what you create and co-create with your environment and with the world. If you indulge the worst case scenario fantasies and you really invest in mistrust of other people, mistrust of the future, if you're all about like protecting your own interests and hunkering down for whatever, whatever threat is right around the corner. Imagine, like on an energetic level, where that gets you. So you might like survive some kind of disaster, but will you have any friends? Will you be able to laugh? Will you remember how to have a good time? Some Capricorns get way too serious about survival. And many Capricorns mature beyond that. And so you may have heard Capricorns age in reverse. And the thing is like Capricorn energy is really serious. And a lot of times you're serious about really important things because you have the capacity to see the long term and you are aware of limitations, you are aware of threats, you are aware of problems. And a lot of you are really good at taking care of things before they get bad. But a lot of you expend so much energy on self-protection that you don't allow in what could be good enough to keep it from being bad. And so you put so much attention in avoiding the worst case scenario that you never open your attention to what is the best case scenario. Obviously, only thinking about the best case scenario can quickly go bad. And we can totally get into bypassing and, magical thinking that really does not help anybody. And that's not what I'm recommending. But I am recommending that you really keep it in check right now, especially when it comes to fear and scarcity and survival, especially when it comes to protecting what you feel like is yours. And especially when it comes to like your home, your family, your body, it's like the me, myself, and I of survival. Your best long-term survival plan is relationships. It's good relationships. You can have like the most rad bunker and you stockpiled all the things that you need to stockpile, but literally like if you mistrust everybody around you, that bunker is going to get so funky so fast. I was reading about like, billionaire bunkers being built and I was just like, oh my God, I would hate to be in that bunker. It sounds like a luxurious place where you've got, all kinds of amenities and underground spas and you can get health treatments by robots and, your AI monitoring your vitals all the time or whatever and like 9,000 levels of security so the riffraff can't get in. But honestly, imagine being trapped underground with people who are only interested in their own survival. I don't want to be there. I'd rather honestly go out in the nuclear holocaust or whatever the next, disaster Hollywood thriller says it's going to be like. At least then we could transcend, beyond to the next thing. So don't allow your mistrust of what is possible in the world to narrow and squeeze and oppress your vision and imagination. You can create the world of your dreams, and our dreams can be bad or good. This is an opportunity for you to really kind of tune in with what are some good dreams that you could have. And I want to encourage you to have good dreams about the possibilities of relationships. And how you can have good dreams about the possibilities of relationships is by paying attention to where those dreams are already true. There are already ways that people are heartfelt and authentic and sincere and funny and brilliant and really good to have around for all kinds of different reasons. There are already ways that you are getting your needs met. There are already ways that you are enjoying company. You may have gripes and complaints. Don't focus on those. Focus on what's good and try and make more of it. When you give your attention to gratitude and abundance, it's not going to make gratitude and abundance the only thing that exists in the world. We're not in magical bypassing thinking, but gratitude and abundance will grow. When you focus on the feeling of gratitude, what happens in your actual body is that you become more relaxed. You have a better time. And so this is the way that Capricorns age in reverse, is like Capricorns get themselves so stressed out about so many things that at some point they realize like that's unnecessary. And then what happens is they develop an awesome sense of humor. This is a season for you to be really cultivating your sense of humor. Watch comedy, like make jokes with people. Some of the best, most bonding, connective engagements with other people that can really build security and safety in relationships is when we laugh together. And when we're really laughing together, like big belly laughs, tears rolling down our eyes, not when we're laughing like at other people in a mean way, not when we're like laughing because we're nervous. The laughter that comes up when we can like laugh at ourselves, laugh at just, the absurdity of life. That kind of humor builds bonds. It builds longevity in relationships. It builds trust. The way that you want to build the world right now in the world of your dreams is through trust. It's through humor. It's through compassion. It's through a felt sense of connectivity. And I'm not going to say safety because we don't live in a world that actually guarantees any amount of safety, right? Like safety only exists within the ultimate. But safer spaces are spaces where we have enough dignity and self-love and equanimity to kind of just roll with the differences and also engage with them, right? Safer spaces are spaces where conflict is actually engaged with in practiced ways so that we can cultivate real intimacy. Safer spaces aren't created by pretending that everything is okay and like avoiding anything that feels not okay. They're also not created by attacking each other for everything. But learning how to engage with conflict in ways that allow everybody to grow, right, and learn more about themselves and each other, this creates bonds that will go the distance. On March 29th, on March 29th, there is a new moon and solar eclipse in Aries. This is the last eclipse in a series of eclipses that began in 2023. And on April 12th, we have the full moon in Libra that is a counterpoint to this eclipse and also really working with this series of eclipses that has resonated throughout the last 2 years. In these last 2 years, Capricorn, a lot has been happening for you that has to do with you empowering yourself to be in relationships that are a lot more honest in general in the world. And also letting go of some of the ways that I think you put expectations on yourself, or maybe you internalize other people's expectations of who you should be or how you shouldn't be. And a lot of you are just like done with that. You're done with people pleasing. You're done with performing. You're done with like trying to live up to whoever's whatever. And you are just getting so much more grounded in who you are. And so this season, in Aries season, and especially between the new moon eclipse on March 29th and the full moon on April 12th, are really powerfully reminding you of a lot of what these lessons have been. And they are motivating you to continue what these lessons have brought forward in ways that have you communicating increasingly clearly, really owning your own truth, not shying away from whatever might make you feel insecure or unseen, taking more risks, taking more chances, not being so measured and like needing to have the full plan, but actually just kind of like going with the flow, doing things because you want to do them. This is the vibe that I'm getting for you, really building in a strong way in between these lunations. Now, in this period of time, we also have some big new kind of configurations starting to manifest in the world. And there are a lot of new opportunities that are coming forward in 2025. And opportunities are opening because certain doors are closing. So endings are beginnings. And there is this sense that the increasing kind of precarity and like dire situation in the world is also an opportunity for awakening and coherence and new ways of being. And that's what we want to focus on. And Capricorn, for you, there's a real orientation around how you are investing your attention, your time, your labor, and definitely any kind of material resource, including what you might put into your home and your family. You want to invest in ways that you really feel like can grow into the world that you want. And the world that you want is a world where relationships are very healthy. And what then is required from you is good communication. And good communication is not happening in your head. Yes, your mind is there shaping words and making sense of the data that you're taking in, but really the kind of communication that you want to be cultivating and developing is embodied communication, it's energetic communication, and it's integrated communication. So that means your head, your heart, your gut, right? Your sense of intuition and your subtle awareness, your energy, your spirituality, they're all working together. And this means that when you communicate, you don't feel like you're lying. It doesn't feel like you're saying something, but then part of you feels some other kind of way. It doesn't feel like you're not saying something that you actually feel. It also doesn't feel like you are, like needing to prove things to other people or getting really intense about it in ways that take you out of yourself. So what I'm going to leave you with is feeling your breath and relaxing around the tension in your body and relaxing your brain and asking you to pay attention to a sense of continuity and interdependence between yourself and the earth and life, because the breath that you're breathing is only available to your body because of literally everybody else. The water that makes up 60% of your body is only available to your body because of everything else. The only reason you're here is because everybody else is here. So let go of some of the tension and the feelings of how you're going to get what you need to do what you do and who are you and how can you be the person that you are in the best way, blah, 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 blah. Just let go, relax, pay attention to where you are, find something to laugh about, have a good time, and be bold about it. There are some things that you want to do and that you want to feel, and you know what they are, and they feel a little bit risky, but they also feel a little bit fun, and they need you just to try them, okay? It's time to build the world of your dreams. Capricorn, if you resonate with this message, please hit the like and subscribe and share these horoscopes with a friend. Please support this work by letting me know how it resonates for you. Leave me a comment. If you want to work with me, you can find me every Monday from 8 to 9:30 a.m. on Zoom in a class called Somatic Space. You can always get the recording if you can't attend live. Every single week, we are working with the astrology of the week ahead through guided meditation, visualization, gentle healing movements in our bodies, and having fun, getting loose with it and connecting with one another. It would be a great space for you if you are so compelled. Embodied Astrology also has a lot going on all the time. We are a community learning space. We have study groups, we have classes, we have workshops, we have monthly deep dives with me. And in Aries season, we have a really special event coming up on March 22nd. This is a conversation with Laura Chung. Laura is an amazing astrologer and activist. She is also someone who is really interested in revolutions and the astrology of revolutions. She is joining us on a very special day astrologically. It's the day of the Venus Cazimi, and it's a great day to dream about the world that you want to exist and actually make some moves towards bringing it into existence. And the conversation that we're going to have with Laura is very much about how in 2025 and moving into the future, there are some really significant astrological patterns about revolution and evolution, and we want to work with them. Join the conversation. Let's build the worlds that we dream of. You can find all the links and information and more in the show notes or at embodiedastrology.com. Capricorn, I'm wishing you all the best in Aries season and beyond. Bye for now.